Hello, my fellow carbon printed meat golems, just waiting to break down. Before I get started, shout out to Parag Shea, I think 2112. You're a solid bro. I like your stuff. I'm waiting on you to put out a video, man. Come on, man. We're all waiting on you, man. All right, he's pretty cool. He encouraged me to redo this video, right? Or he encouraged me to upgrade my quality, let's say. So here it go. And also shout out to Janet is MGTOW. I've given her a lot of problems in the past, like really bad, and she's always really nice to me. And she said that she's gonna pray for me, which I thought was cute because I stopped praying and stopped going to church. And she's married, so how is she going her own way? I don't know. Women don't need rules, that's for men. So, but anyway, see, I'm still giving her a hard time. But she was real sweet to me, and she always is. She's like nice and stuff. But she told me not to hate and that her prayers were with me. I thought the prayers thing was sweet, but not hating people is for normie queers and women. All right, no, neither. So sorry, but it's not gonna happen. Okay. All right. Let's jump in. Fest of the MGTOW in his second upload. Okay. Entitled For Friends or Family of a Person with Mental Illness or Addiction or an Addiction, mentioned a few things, and I would like to go over some of those. That upload was published on the same day that my identical twin brother died as a homeless alcoholic at the age of 29 years, 3 months, and 7 days. All right. Judging by the height of the sun and by the background lighting, you, meaning Fester the MGTOW, filmed that same video at a time not too distant from 11 a.m. when my identical twin brother Scott was pronounced dead. Alright. He was my best friend, my twin brother, and the only person that I would visit virtually every day. I look forward to dying myself, so he and I may be together again in the new kingdom, provided that God is real. Your statement that follows was very similar to what I was thinking about the last time that I saw my twin brother, just hours before he died. You said, what you have to do is you have to let people be who they are and let them come to their own realizations at their own pace, at their own time. Place them in the hands of God, if you will. It's not your job to play God in the lives of others. Now, I agree with that fully. The things that you were saying there applied to me, and I realized at the time that I was watching the video, and also that I realized that while I was watching the video, and I realized that when it was happening, that I too was becoming codependent as a person who wasn't an addict necessarily in the situation. Although I was smoking about 2 ounces of pot of cannabis a month, I still had a severe post-traumatic stress disorder. I still do, and did severe post-traumatic stress disorder, nightmares every night, and anger issues, okay? Watching my abusive, drug-addled, and currently alcoholic dad destroy my brothers and I, especially me because I was like the main target, as well as himself, okay, his own health. Then watching my identical twin brother destroy himself in turn, while I was trying and succeeding in dropping my own addictions and bad habits to a relative degree. The addictions, yes, the bad habits, we'll see. That was very difficult for me to watch, okay, because it was like looking in a mirror into a nightmare realm, alright? Because he looked exactly like me, so it was like, no, it was like I say, looking into a mirror into a nightmare realm. It was some, it was like Doctor Strange kind of stuff. I still have anger issues and nightmares every night, not that it matters, but I'm not smoking cigars or cannabis anymore. I was a light cigar smoker at the time. The withdrawals were bad, but not much is good, so whatever. Fester, you're very wise to have noticed that these things are largely out of our own hands and that the family members, even second or third parties, are also mentally unstable due to the unhealthy or unnatural relationship between them all. I'm really excited to see my twin brother again. I used to say to him all the time, because if you've seen my video, M. Bison and My Brother's Keeper, a video game jumping uppercut saved my life because I didn't know what to do while the kid was standing up. He was like twice my age. He was 14 and he was a teenager. I was like 7. And he was big, even he's like 6'5" now or something. So anyway, he's huge. So I jumped up and I knocked him out and then I saved his life, right? But it was a video game move that saved me, a jumping uppercut, because I saw it in my head and did it. That's how I live. But I used to always tell my twin brother, because he did a left elbow uppercut thing to my dad one time, and I just remember it reminded me of that video game, because the other guy did it with his left hand, and they were brothers. But I used to always tell him, I'm your Ryu and you're my Ken. And that's how I always looked at it. About the first thing, about the first, now I'm making a second, but this is the second one, but I'll be making the first one. Installments of your book club, entitled, what I'm calling it a book club, Codependent No More, by self-help author Melanie Betty. Okay, that's what this one's about. Before I get started, Codependent No More, that's the title. Though I am right now so toxic and that I've entirely lost the ability to feel love, joy, or to embrace any kind of a semblance of a healthy relationship with any living being. My dad brought a machete to talk to me the last time I talked to him. He's a coward, and he's seen me beat up like dozens of people before, at once, multiple times, so armed and unarmed. So I mean, he's seen me do some things. And he's a coward. I told him I wasn't going to beat him up. Well, like I said, whatever. If you spend your whole life punching a kid and then he becomes a scary adult, and he's a coward. But let's see. I would never hit him back though, because I'm afraid of accidentally killing him, because thou shalt not kill, or I would just kill myself right now. All right. So my second youngest brother's in jail. My twin brother's dead. I'm rude to him a lot, my second youngest brother. I'm basically volatile, extremely volatile. Okay, I told my stepmom before I stopped talking to her, I hope she slips on the ice and breaks her back. Okay, that's how hateful I've been able to get. I made my absentee mom. She was gone from 2 to 18, and then from 18 to 30. When I contacted her in jail, I told her, I made her cry during a prison phone call. So, okay. So you had said something, Fester the MGTOW, that I thought was interesting. You had said in that upload, you said, what is your family member or friend's life worth to you if you are the person with it, meaning an addiction yourself? What is your mom, your dad, or your brother, your sister, your friends, what is that worth to you? $10? Make the investment. So you mean by the book, which if I'd read that book, it would have helped me out, or if I'd have seen your video, because you picked the best part out of the whole book. That's why I'm not reviewing it here. I was thinking at the time that you said that, I would pay absolutely nothing. That's what it's worth. Family and friends are an illusion of pretty much coincidence. Although fun may be had in relationships, they're essentially futile and pointless. A chemical illusion, more or less. I would say that the author of Codependent No More, okay, well, I'll do like a micro review. The author of Codependent No More, Miss Melanie Betty, who married a former alcoholic and counselor himself, was prone to overgeneralizations and substituting attitudes for ideas in her book, as well as bordering on turning mental health as many do, into a thing intended for exchange or an object of economic value. But, okay, now, every psychologist that I've attempted to see not only was an affirmative action sponging woman, but she did bad work. And all they want to do is say, yeah, he has this, put a stampy thing, pay me. That's it. All right. Same thing with medication. They would love to jam some antidepressants down my throat, permanently screwing up my, what do you call it, neurochemistry. Because like they made me take ADHD medication. I played football since 2nd grade. I mean, what did they expect? No energy. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. So they just tried to drug me into being a girl. But there's a chance that that it permanently damaged my dopamine neurons, which explains why I feel neither love nor joy. I'll get like a smirk sometimes. That's the closest I get. All right. I'll laugh when I'm by myself. But they probably permanently damaged my brain to try to make me a girl, because I was making the girls cry because I kept raising my hand when they didn't know the answer. So the female teacher with 2 E's made sure she had me drugged. And no, the doctor didn't. She's not a doctor, but she recommended me for this and that. And what do you do when this and that's recommended? You drug the boy, not the girl. Okay, so Melanie, she substituted attitudes for ideas a lot in her book, bordered on like commoditized mental health, standard woman practice. You got to get my hypergamy on. I'm not sure. Okay, well, yeah, I am sure that it's her hypergamy, but marital arrangement and self-interest, her marital arrangement and self-interest kicking in is what that was, no doubt. If not just pure ignorance, and hopefully not any kind of malicious intent. I wouldn't be surprised though. Interestingly enough, some people claim that her concept of codependency blames women for following what is traditionally seen as the caring feminine role, which I thought was funny, because it's like, classic feminist feminist criticisms of a traditional role of a woman. She's like, oh, you guys to be basically submissive and caring and, in touch with your feelings, perfectly healthy stuff for someone with larger emotion and communication centers, because they have a female brain, higher levels of oxytocin in their bloodstream because it fuses with or synergizes with estrogen. Oh, but nah, you got to be a man. That's what their basic criticism of her is. I thought you'd be interested in that one, Professor the MGTOW. I see your comment section. I happen to agree myself with the subtitle of the book, which is this: How to Stop Controlling Others and Start Caring for Yourself. Now, I didn't so much care for myself as take care of what I needed to take care of, which is, I guess you could call that taking care or caring for, but it wasn't caring for myself, but caring for my environment. Women are more oriented toward people, men are more oriented toward things. I don't really care about myself, but I do care about my environment. The author's view of codependency starts from the possible counterintuitive premise that rescuing someone, in the sense of solving their problems for them, is a less than benevolent act than it might at first seem. I wouldn't say that's counterintuitive, I would just say it's the truth. Because of agency, the nature of agency. To avoid the destructive aspects of enabling in the guise of helping, she highlighted how codependents are caretakers, rescuers. They rescue, then they persecute, then they end up victimized. This is the crude description of the Cartman drama triangle, and a model used in psychotherapy, specifically transactional analysis. I used the same model to gain insight into my own former relationships several years ago myself. It was the exact copy of what was going down with my brother and what my dad used to do to me. You see, but I figured it out pretty early because I was like, this is missing all the nuance in the world. I was like, this is just I blame, I point, I yell, I blame. And so I caught myself and I was just like, okay, he is not going to anything. He's just a vacuous void. Both my dad and my twin brother, because they learned it from, I think, one another. Or my twin brother was just, he gave up. My dad used to call him a broke-winged bird because the doctor slipped with the scalpel during one of our brain surgeries. See my video, Reaper's Death Mark, before I changed my name. And my dad used to call him a broke-winged bird. He never, like, I don't know how many times I've had to, like, tell him to shut up or I was going to break him. And I never attacked him, like I say, but he would attack me. My dad would, but I would have to throw him across the room or almost kill him a bunch of times. So eventually he just started backing down sometimes, but then he'd get drunk and try to attack me again, whatever. But my twin brother just basically gave up. No one cared about him because he's white and male and had a messed up walk and a messed up arm. And so he just grew into self-pity and alcoholism and died. The author, or the author's solution to codependency, which is different than dependency, meaning you're addicted to a person, codependency. The author's solution, which I mostly agree with, was to detach from over-involvement, which I did, from a toxic enmeshment in someone else's life, and without ceasing to care, to strengthen one's own personal boundaries. I agree with her, except for the part that said without ceasing to care. I don't care anymore about anyone, unless it's only in a very passing manner, okay? I already tried to help the only person I really cared about, and that didn't work, so I ain't gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother. I said ain't instead of it's funny. It's technically is it, but whatever, I don't care. That would have been grammatically improper too. The term codependent originated as a way to describe people who use relationships with others as their sole source of value and identity, and built on the experience of Alcoholics Anonymous, that the addict's problem could be compounded by the enabling roles of those who made up their network. Very true. Betty maintained in her bestseller that a codependent is a person who believes their happiness is derived from other people, or one who is, in particular, eventually becoming obsessed with controlling the behavior of the other person or people that they believe is making or are making them happy, right? Basically just try to control them like a puppet. Hence, codependents often end up in relationships with drug, including alcohol addicts, spouses, or lovers, because they're easily controlled or depended on, as it were. Similar to interpersonal theories of psychoanalysis, like Heinz, Coet, Wilfried Bion, and Otto Kernberg, and she put them into language the average reader could easily grasp. The book also rephrased many of the notions expressed in the Alcoholics Anonymous and 12-step programs, movements, into more modern language. She made the notion of addiction to a person who is addicted to a substance or a behavioral process, interestingly. She made that part of the Western cultural lexicon, meaning codependency. And that's basically the book. You said that yourself, Festa the MGTOW, real early, and I thought that was pretty interesting. You picked out, like I said, the best parts of the book. All right. This has been your kinda humble host, the Furious Nevermind. The following is a quote from Groups by Piet Hein, entitled Mankind. Men, said the devil, are good to their brothers. They don't want to mend their own ways, but each other's.